969 years make us reflect on how vast time can be when used to fulfill a purpose. How many life stories could fit into such a long life? And how many times could one sense the changing of times, reflecting on the choice of one's descendants? Methuselah was no ordinary person. His life was entwined with a purpose far beyond the individual. His presence seems to have represented a divine truce for humanity. Each year he lived symbolized an extension of God's patience, allowing men to reconcile with their spirituality before the flood. It's fascinating to think that his death would coincide with the start of an event as monumental as the flood, as if Methuselah's time itself was a kind of clock. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to live with the certainty that your death would mark a crucial point for humanity? This long life also makes us think about the value and intent behind the time we have. How many people today would say they've spent years simply waiting? Methuselah's longevity reminds us that each year can be used meaningfully, whether for spiritual growth or to build something lasting. If we think carefully, maybe we can apply this reflection to our lives right now, asking ourselves what we're truly doing with our time. Are we making every day count, or are we merely letting life pass by? This is just the beginning of a rich and transformative journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to make sure you don't miss our upcoming videos. Together, we'll explore stories that connect us with roots of wisdom and faith. Enoch was a unique figure in Methuselah's lineage, someone who had such intimate communion with God that he didn't experience death like other mortals. This fact alone creates an aura of mystery and reverence around him, serving as a powerful reminder that there are rewards for those who seek to live righteously and faithfully. Enoch walked with God in such a way that his very existence became a symbol of purity and spiritual commitment. He was more than just a man. He represented a connection to something much greater, a bridge between the divine and the human, reflecting a righteousness that transcends common understanding. Enoch's relationship with God marked his descendants, profoundly impacting the life of Methuselah and all who came after him. This example of righteousness, passed down through generations, laid a foundation of faith and resilience for his descendants, like Noah, who faced the great challenge of building the ark. Looking at Enoch's life, it's as if we can see a model for living in righteousness, even in the midst of a society that strayed further from divine precepts. Thus, Enoch shows us that true righteousness is a daily choice, echoing not only in our lives but also in the lives of those who come after us. For those seeking practical inspiration, Enoch's life suggests a relentless search for purpose and faithfulness, an alignment between faith and everyday actions. Today, this could translate into acts like honoring commitments, keeping one's word, and seeking a deeper connection with what we consider sacred. Enoch teaches us that righteousness is not something static, but a path, a continuous commitment that, when cultivated, can transform lives and strengthen legacies. He thus opens the way to greater reflections on our own quest for purpose and justice. Methuselah's death, coinciding with the onset of the flood, is one of those events that defy common understanding, powerfully revealing divine timing. The expression, "when he dies, it will happen," attributed to Methuselah's name, brings up the idea of a larger plan, where even the timing of his departure was carefully orchestrated. It's fascinating to imagine that each year of his life might have been an extension of the time granted by God's mercy. This event leads us to reflect on the concept of time. While to us it seems linear and relentless, in the divine plan it is adjustable and carries a profound purpose. The beginning of the flood marks a sudden and definitive shift in human history, teaching us that divine timing, although often distant and hard to comprehend, is always exact. God's patience, manifested in Methuselah's long life, contrasts with the firm judgment that came soon after his death. This is a reminder that although mercy is vast, it is also finite, and there comes a time when the cycle must close to make way for a new beginning. It's as if the flood were a new start, a point of renewal for humanity. And how does this apply to us today? Often, we wait for the right time to act but delay important changes. This story can serve as an inspiration for us to look at our own time and ask ourselves, Are we waiting for the right opportunity or letting life pass by? Divine time may not be something we can control, but understanding that each moment can have a purpose encourages us to live with more intention and purpose, in tune with what truly matters. During the time of Methuselah and Noah, the world seemed to be sinking ever deeper into corruption and departure from divine values. Humanity, created to live in harmony and integrity, chose to stray, delving into practices that undermined its spiritual connection. Imagine living in a world where evil had become the norm, where right and wrong lost their meaning. This grim scenario makes us think about how collective choices profoundly impact the direction a society takes. It's as if each distorted action built a path leading to moral and spiritual decay. This widespread corruption led God to make such a drastic decision: the flood. Noah, being the only righteous man among so many, becomes a figure of resilience amidst chaos. He represents those few who, even in a decaying society, choose the path of justice and faith. Observing this, we are invited to reflect on how our own choices can place us on a path of righteousness or drag us towards destruction. Staying true in times of disorder is a challenge, but also an opportunity to be an example and inspire others. Today, it's easy to see parallels in our society, where corruption often seems to prevail and values appear to have been left behind. In this context, we can ask ourselves, are we contributing to change, or are we adapting to an environment that distances us from what is essential? Just as Noah made a difference in his time, each of us can be an agent of transformation, choosing to maintain integrity and inspire those around us. This is the power of someone who chooses the right path, even when everything around them points in the opposite direction. Jesus referenced the days of Noah and Lot as a warning for future generations, drawing a parallel to the last days. He makes us think about how often society becomes so focused on material matters and the distractions of everyday life that it loses spiritual awareness. It's almost as if we're so busy building and planting that we forget to reflect on the greater purpose. Just like in Noah's time, where spiritual indifference led to a great catastrophe, Jesus draws our attention to not ignore the signs around us. This comparison with the last days is powerful because it reveals a profound truth. When we are so immersed in the material world, we lose sight of eternity. In Noah's days, people were so busy with their affairs that they failed to grasp the urgency of the moment. This is a reminder about the value of maintaining a balance between earthly and spiritual matters. We can reflect on whether, by dedicating time and effort to our own plans, we are neglecting something greater. Jesus shows that indifference to what is sacred is a trap that affects generations, and that judgment can come suddenly. In modern times, people often seek more comfort and material security without realizing that they are losing spiritual connections and essential values. And then each of us must ask, are we conscious of our spiritual journey, or are we simply following the crowd? This is an invitation to awaken, to step out of the rat race and see beyond the immediate. The reflection on Noah's days is not just a lesson from the past, but a mirror for our current society and the choices we make every day. Your support makes all the difference. Like, share, subscribe, and let's together build a community that values these stories and their eternal teachings.